¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome to another video. If you're still thinking like a YouTuber in 2026, you're losing. You're essentially chasing trends, you're doing random uploads, and you're praying for views, while the creators who think like a documentary maker, people who actually make documentaries on a consistent basis, are quietly building trust, authority, and income. So, in this video, I'm basically going to show you how documentary thinking helps you turn your channel into a body of work, not random posts, build an authority that brands will actually literally pay attention to and clients pay for, and create content that works across YouTube, Shorts, UGC, and offers, and affiliate links, and all of the other stuff, which is absolutely amazing. But before we get into that, my name is Pedro Midan. I literally own 2 social media marketing agencies that make multiple 6 figures every single year. We have literally more than 68 million views right now through all our platforms. On top of that, with 100 appointments booked for our clients, and we actually won a Grammy. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Just want you to get better at making content. So let's get into it. So let's first discuss the YouTuber brain, which is essentially what most people do. Which people are literally obsessed with clickable topics for today, fast uploads, fast views, and figuring out what's trending instead of what am I saying, right? And the result is essentially a grid of basically unrelated videos. There's views, but not necessarily a through line. Basically, nobody remembers you for any specific topic, and everything is harder to sell as far as UGC or offers or services because you look like noise, pretty much. Trust me, because it's happened to me. Now, the documentary brain is more so what you want a viewer to adopt, which it starts with a thesis being like, here's the problem that I'm investigating, a character, which is like, here's who the story is about, and the journey, which is essentially here's what happens over time, right? And the result with every single video feels like another chapter of a bigger and deeper story, right? Which then people binge because they're not watching tips, they're watching a narrative based off of your own opinions and your own value that you provide to the workplace. And brands and clients see you as somebody who can shape a story and not just make a reel, and that's billable, right? So the more you think like a documentary maker, the more your content feels premium, and premium storytellers get paid. Whether that be, like I said before, in UGC situations, being user-generated content, brand deals, consulting, affiliate links, AdSense, production work, it doesn't matter. So in this video, I'm literally going to describe the steps in order to do this, right? As far as think like a documentary maker. So step number 1 is essentially define your doc thesis, not just essentially a niche, right? So essentially traditional YouTube advice would be like pick a niche, but a documentary mindset would be like pick a thesis that you're investigating over time, right? So an example of thesis that you can use in the making money online with content would be like how regular people can make money online with content in 2026 without a huge following. And that's essentially like what I'm doing with my business as far as like the coaching program and community that we have, that you can basically click the first link in the description if you're interested in doing that and developing a 6-figure income in less than 90 days. But another example would be like, what happens when you treat your phone like a production studio, not a toy? Right? Or saying like, can posting 3 videos a day with 20 to 50 views actually lead to a silver play button and real income? Right? It seems like literally in like a thing that we want to solve, but it's a genuine problem that we need to investigate, right? So I'm gonna give you a simple exercise in which that you can actually use this for your YouTube channel. Essentially, you would fill in the blank with the following. So this channel is a documentary about who trying to achieve what in what new reality. I'm gonna say that again. So this channel is a documentary about who trying to achieve what in what new reality. So an example would be, this channel is a documentary about everyday creators in their 20s to 30s trying to build real income from content in a world where platforms can disappear overnight, right? And literally that's a shout out to Australia with the ban, Venezuela with the whole situation, and essentially media studios basically giving away their intellectual property, their email list and their offers, and essentially like Netflix trying to basically acquire Warner Brothers for millions of dollars. So next is step 2, essentially turning your audience into the main character. So documentaries are essentially character driven. So instead of literally saying like, here are my 5 tips to grow, do like, here's what people like you are struggling with, right? Essentially give them the voice, give them the call out. Essentially You would basically say posting daily but not making money, like in my niche specifically, tiny view counts like 20 to 50 views but high watch time, a fear it's too late to start in 2026, things like this, right? And make the audience the protagonist. Whereas you're using you language, not we or like they. You're using you language. Like you're stuck thinking more views equals more money. Or you're ignoring the fact that every comment, like, and DM is a lead, right? And then you would connect that to income, being documentaries make you care about what happens next. So then your content should be make your viewers see themselves in the story, right? Which then naturally lead to, okay, so how do I fix this? And then your offer, if you literally provide it well within content, you can basically sell a lot, whether it be with UGC help, content strategy, templates and checklists, audits, coaching, and just overall just teaching and whatnot. Basically anything that you're trying to sell. The next is step 3, which is essentially build acts instead of one-off videos, right? So like Act 1 would be set up, right, when introducing the problem and the character. Act 2 would be essentially the conflict, and which is essentially the struggle and the experiments and the tension that's literally at the top of everything because of the point of conflict. Then we have to go down into the resolution, which is essentially the longer latter point of everything, which essentially gives us the payoff, the transformation, and what we learn. So then, for example, if you were to use this for my channel, helping people make content so that way they can actually make money online, the content would be the setup, right? The first act. Whereas why niche-based content is dead if you can't communicate with conviction. Literally talking about how people need to become better communicators on camera. Next thing would be the Act 2 content, which is essentially conflict and the experiment, right? Essentially documenting my own experiments, being like posting 3 videos a day with 20 to 50 views and tracking what leads it brings as far as the business is concerned. And sharing the metrics honestly, like view duration, leads, DM combos, and money made. And the content in the Act 3 portion would be the resolutions, like what happened after 90 days of treating like my channel like a documentary, right? So essentially just one transitions into the next. So every act should end with a call to action too that pushes people deeper into the documentary or your funnel, being your email list, a free resource, or a low ticket product, or a DM overall. And then step 4 is essentially thinking footage, not just posts, right? So documentary makers don't necessarily think in posts, they think in footage libraries, right? So they collect interviews, B-rolls, voice notes, archive clips, scenes of processes, etc. So your footage as the creator, as the content creator, would essentially be screen recordings of your editing process, your client work, or your ad results, clips of you filming the in-between tasks, like literally just like walking down the street, getting a coffee, whatever it is for your YouTube videos or for your shorts, your Loom breakdowns of hooks, UGC ads, or content strategies, and your behind-the-scenes stuff, essentially like building offers, replying to leads, closing deals, etc., etc., etc. And then you show how this footage becomes a long-form documentary-style video or a short-form clip for TikTok reels and shorts, as far as like a get ready with me or a vlog. And you could also do B-roll over scripts for UGC examples or content inside a paid course or a digital product. Because I'll be honest with you, like a YouTuber uploads and forgets, but a documentary maker achieves and archives and repurposes. That's how you basically turn one day of filming into a month of content and multiple streams of income. And then step 5 is essentially using pattern recognition like a document editor. So this is where the money is, like the actual money is, more so than anything else. So please write this down. I want you to understand that documentary editors are absolutely important because they watch hours of footage and they look for patterns like recurring lines, emotional beats, themes that actually are recurring or resurfacing, and they structure the story around those patterns, right? And you as the creator, you're basically looking for patterns in which videos get high retention, more saves, more shares, higher click-through rate, comments like I needed this or how do I start, and you basically figure out which topics naturally lead to DMs and money overall. So then you basically turn those patterns into franchises and essentially like long-form documentary style episodes or a recurring series on your YouTube channel, being like stop thinking like a YouTuber, like on this channel, right? Or like time between tasks, or like making money with X amount of views, or my like if in the fitness industry it'd be like my bicep course or series, or like my leg series, or somebody in the accountant situation is like my S Corp series, my LLC series, etc., etc., etc. And then your offers would essentially be anywhere from like content frameworks or done with you or done for you offers, so that way you know for a fact in your heart that one banger video isn't just that one time I got lucky, but it's a signal. It's essentially documentary makers build a whole story around that signal, right? So you should build a product ladder around it, if that makes sense. And step 6 is essentially distribution like a doc, not a random upload. So like documentaries don't necessarily get posted, they get released. Right, so what does that mean? There's strategy, there's literally trailers, there's press, there's festivals, there's partnerships, etc., etc., etc. For you, means that don't just drop a video and pray. I want you to treat videos like mini docu releases. Essentially, like tease clips on your shorts, reels, and TikToks. Like build anticipation. Like I've been testing this for 30 days. This is what's happening, or like literally put it on your stories for Instagram. Use your email or community posts to essentially increase your traffic. At the end, push to like roughly a lead magnet, a DM keyword automation, or like a small paid offer, depending on what you want to do. The money isn't necessarily in making just good content. It's in releasing like it's a project worth watching and buying into it, if that makes sense. And that's the way literally the biggest creators do it, because they just literally get traffic from all different platforms, not just the one platform, right? So if you keep thinking like a YouTuber, you'll be chasing the algorithm. If you start thinking like a documentary maker, you'll build something that people actually remember and something they'll pay to be part of. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your bell notifications on, because I literally put videos out like this every single day and you don't want to miss them, especially about making content, especially making content online. And on top of that, if you're interested in making a 6-figure income roughly in the next 90 days with a social media marketing agency, just click the first link in the description so we can actually help you out do that and literally get into our community, which is absolutely amazing. And if you love this video so much, you can basically start watching more, literally with a video that's been recommended to you right now, literally in the screen right now as I'm circling my hand. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace.